Hey y'all, hi Red Team. Okay, so I figured the easiest way to explain this, because I'm walking my class through everything step by step, was to make a video. If you hate it, so do I. Okay, you're on your paper. Should be Punnett square practice number 1. You should have written your name, your date, and your period on there. If you do not have those things, I will take off points. I don't know if y'all noticed that with other things that I've graded, but especially for projects, if you don't have all 3 of those things, you lose points. And this is super important because when I'm grading your stuff, because I don't teach you in person, I don't remember what class you're in. And so sometimes your things can get lost if you don't put your period on it, okay? So, name, date, period. Punnett square, practice number 1. On the top, it says, on an alien planet, snorks are a type of fish. Some snorks have stars on their bellies while others do not. Use the information provided and your knowledge of heredity to complete the problems below. So, number 1, write the correct genotypes for each fish. A capital S represents a fish with a star, and a lowercase s represents a fish without a star. Remember to make your capital and lowercase letters very different sizes. So, genotypes. Remember, a phenotype is the physical expression . So this would be, in this case, we're talking about star or no star on the belly of the fish. It could be the eye color, it could be hair color, freckles, dimples, things like that. Any inherited trait that we talked about is going to be a phenotype when we have the physical expression of it. The genotype, is going to be the 2 letters that represent the alleles. A lot of my students were confused about what is an allele. Allele is just the letters that represent a trait. So in this case, we have S's, okay? So each one of these is an allele. Okay, each one of the S's is an allele. Together, when we have 2 of them, that is our genotype. So, for having a star is a dominant trait. Dominance is represented by a capital letter. When it's recessive, it's going to be a lowercase letter. So having a star, we know is dominant. We have 2 options. We have a homozygous option and a heterozygous option. Homozygous means same dominance. Heterozygous means different dominance. Okay, so our 2 options, we know we're going to have a capital letter because it's dominant, and we know we can have a homozygous option and a heterozygous option. So we can either have capital S, it's option number 1, or our heterozygous option is capital S, lowercase s. Okay. Then for no star, all recessive traits are only going to have a homozygous option. And because it's recessive, we're going to have 2 lowercase letters. Okay, so that is your answer for question number 1. For having a star, we have capital S, and capital S, lowercase s, and for no star, we have lowercase, lowercase. For question number 2, this is the new thing that I'm having y'all learn. I'm going to shift you a little bit so we can see more of the board. Okay. What would happen if a homozygous star-bellied snork and a heterozygous star-bellied snork mated? So what would happen if they had babies? Complete the Punnett square to determine the chances of each fish offspring. So we have our Punnett square. A Punnett square is a big square with 4 little squares in it. Okay? And we know that we have a homozygous star-bellied snork. If we look here, our homozygous star-belly option is capital S, capital S. I'm going to use pink for that. So we have capital S, capital S. We're going to write one S above this first box and the other S on top of this second box. Then the other one was a heterozygous star-bellied snork. That would be big S, little s, okay? We put our big S on this first side and our little s on the second one, okay? The way to complete a Punnett square, you start by pulling down your first letter. So we have a big S, and then we're going to pull over our second letter, which is another big S. Okay? And it is up to you what order you do your Punnett squares in. I normally go all the way across the top, then all the way across the bottom. But if you go top down, over, and top down, that is also okay. Same with over here. We're going to pull down and then pull over. So capital S, capital S. Now, we have a little s and a big S. We're going to pull down, capital S, pull over, little s. Same over here, pull down, pull over. Okay, now our Punnett square is complete. We have 2 more questions to go with that, A and B. It says, what is the probability the offspring would have a star, and what is the probability the offspring would not have a star? We're going to do all of this in percentages, and I know what you're thinking. Ew, math, I know, okay? But each box in a Punnett square is worth 25%. Okay, so really we're just doing addition. We know that having a star is dominant. So if we have a capital letter, that means we're going to have a star. And if we look in here, we have 1 box with a capital letter, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes. So all 4 boxes are going to have a capital letter. And if we do 5 times 25, or 4 times 25, that's going to give us 100%. So that's your answer for A, 100%. And if we have 100% with a star, then we know that 0% are not going to have a star. But we're going to double check. Do any of these boxes have the recessive 2 little s's? First one, no. Second one, no. Third one, no. Fourth one, no. So, for question B, our answer is 0%. Okay. I'm going to erase this, and then we'll do question number 3. Okay, for question number 3, it says, Mr. and Mrs. Gilfin have just brought home their new baby Snork twins from the hospital. However, they are concerned that only one of the twins has a star on her belly. Both Mr. and Mrs. Gilfin have stars on their bellies. Both parents believe they are heterozygous for the trait of a star belly. Create a Punnett square to determine whether it's possible for only one of the twins to have a star belly. Remember, people, like people, Snork twins do not always look identical. So, we know that both parents are heterozygous with a star, meaning they have one capital letter and one lowercase letter. So, both of them are going to have, see if this is the dad, we have capital S, little s. And then the mom, we have capital S, little s. Okay, now we're going to fill in our Punnett square. Remember, we start up top, our big S, we pull it down, big S on the side, we pull over. Okay, then we have a little s. We're going to pull that down, big S, we'll pull that over. I'm going to tell you, the majority of the times you see things, people are going to order it with the capital letter first. That's to show dominance. But if it helps you in your brain to pull down and then over each time you can do that, I'm going to fix it so that way the big S is first and the little s is second. Okay. Third box, we pull down, then we pull over. This time we pulled over a little s. Okay, and for this one, we pull down a little s, we pull over a little s. Okay. And remember what I said before. Each box is a 25% chance. So, if we look at how many times we're going to have a star, this has a capital S, so that's 1, capital S, 2, capital S, 3, but there are no capital S's here. So 3 out of 4 times we're going to have a star. And if we do 3 times 25%, that's going to be 75% of the time. This one time that we have lowercase, that is recessive. That's 1/4. And if we do 1 times 25%, it's going to be 25%. So, is it possible for them to have a baby without a star in their belly? Hopefully you said yes, because there's a 25% chance that their baby will have no star. Bring you closer to look at the Punnett square. Okay, I put some definitions up on the board for some reminders, okay? Dominant is shown with capital letters, so we could have capital B, little b, or big B, okay? Recessive, lowercase letters. Has to be 2 lowercase letters together, not just the lowercase letter being first. It has to be both of them together. Heterozygous, different dominants, okay? So that's when we have a capital and a lowercase. This is also known as hybrid. You're going to see that on your worksheet. It's also known as hybrid. Homozygous is the same dominance, means we have 2 capitals or 2 lowercase. And this is also known as purebred. Okay? Then we have genotype and phenotype. Genotype is the 2 letters representing alleles. Okay? So the example there, BB. A phenotype is the physical expression of the traits, such as brown eyes. Okay? You should be on the side of the paper that says Genetics Practice 1. There's a chart for us. And I'm getting a knock. That was David. He's doing desktop inventory. Okay. So, we have a chart on here that's going to help us out as we go through this. Question 1 says, use the information about snorks to write the phenotype for each item. Remember, a phenotype is the physical expression of the traits. So, we're given the genotype, we have to write the phenotype. I'm only going to do a couple of these with you, and then you have to do them on your own. So, for 1A, hopefully y'all can see that. Okay. So, we're given lowercase b, lowercase b. We know if we have 2 lowercase letters together that it's recessive. So, if we look on our chart under recessive genes, we look down, we see B goes with green, and that's body color. And because we have 2 lowercase b's, we know it's going to be recessive. Our answer is going to be green body color. Okay. I'm going to show you one more in this section because it gets a little tricky. With D, okay, so 1D, we're given a capital E and a lowercase e. So we know that this is heterozygous because they are different dominances. But only one trait is going to show. A lot of people look at this, they look where the E's are, they see its eyes, they see that dominant is 1 eye and recessive is 3 eyes, and they say, oh, they have 4 eyes because they have both. No, it's only going to show the dominant trait. So we're only going to have 1 eye. Okay. I'll let you guys do B and C on your own, but we're going to skip ahead to question number 2 first. Question number 2 says, use the information in the chart to write the genotypes for each trait below. So we're given the phenotypes, and now we have to come up with the 2 letters that go with it. So for A, we're given green body color. I don't know if y'all have ever been told to use the test, to take the test before, but this is a situation where you could use an answer you already have to come up with the answer, because we already did green body color for 1A, and so we technically already have the genotype. But let's go through it anyways. If we look at body color on the chart and we go over to where it says green, we see that it's recessive and it's shown with a little b. How many letters do we need for a genotype? 2. I feel like Dora, just asking a question and answering it myself. So we know we're going to have little b, okay? That one is pretty self-explanatory as you go through it, so I'm only going to do 2A with you. If we jump down to 3, question number 3, it says determine the genotypes by using the information in the chart above. So again, we're being given the phenotypes and we have to come up with the genotypes, the 2 letters. The extra information we're getting here is whether it's heterozygous or homozygous, which impacts what the genotypes are. It uses those words purebred and hybrid that I told you about. Remember, heterozygous is the same as hybrid. Homozygous is the same as purebred. So if we look at 3A, we are told that it is a purebred star belly. If we look at belly design, we see that having a star is dominant. So we're going to have a dominant genotype, which means we're going to have at least 1 capital letter. But because we know it's purebred, it's going to be homozygous, meaning we need 2 capital letters. So we're going to have capital S, capital S. Okay? If we look at 3D, we are told that it is a hybrid smooth tail. So if we look on our chart, tail shape is represented by T's. Dominant is smooth, so we know we're going to have at least one capital T. And we look at hybrid. Hybrid is the same as heterozygous, meaning there's different dominants. So that means we're going to need one capital T and one lowercase t. Okay? It is up to you guys now to finish the rest of the problems on this page. It will be collected. It will be graded. We will continue to do Punnett square practice for the next, honestly, for the next like week and a half, we're going to be doing Punnett squares. So if you do not understand how to do a Punnett square, I need you to ask me. You can come up to me. If you see me in the hallway, you can send me an email. We will figure out a time. If so many of you are confused on it, I can see if I can come up there for a class period and Mr. Clements stays with my class, okay? Because it is very important that you know how to do Punnett squares, because we are going to do them for the rest of this unit, okay? I hope this was helpful and that you guys are able to finish this paper.